Welcome to 3 on the Ones and Twos with your hosts, Tom, Cassie, and James. Just 3 old friends talking about their favorite records. Think of it as the coolest book club for music nerds.
I love doing this, like my favorite things, having drinks with people I love, talking about something that has saved me time and time again, music. And then we get to bring our special guests. This person is one of my favorite people in the whole world. I met you, I think, in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
We worked together. Let's talk about that. It was boring.
Yeah.
But I normally don't cross.
But it brought good things.
But I normally don't cross paths in my life. Like I don't invite people that I work with to like party and stuff.
Right.
But she had this something special, and I invited her to a party of mine. Well, little I know, she knew half the people at my party.
That was a good story.
We shared so many wonderful friends, and then I find out she's a rock and roller. She found out, she goes, "Why, you play in the Wolves?" I mean, unbelievable. And then we shared the stage together. A brilliant singer, songwriter, piano player, charity, like the work.
You've sung backup on.
She sang on the Western Motel, last Western Motel record. Just awesome artisan and artist, musician, and human. Keena Graham, who I know as Keena Sings, because she has got some pipes. James, Joyce,
Quite an
Cassie.
introduction.
Yes,
Thank you.
well, listen, I haven't lied in 11 days, so everything,
good.
everything I said was true.
Probably been more like 30.
Thank you, Trackside Tavern, PBR,
Yeah, cheers.
Jameson.
Thank you guys
Don't forget
for
that.
having me.
Here we go.
Yes,
Thank you.
much love to everyone out there watching, and this is where we go. We stop talking to the camera, and we talk to each other, and they watch us.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
So Keena picked a record.
Keena
I
picked a
did.
record.
I did.
What'd you pick, Keena?
I picked Bjork's debut.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Bjork, maybe?
Ugh,
Look at
Yeah.
that picture.
that
Look at
picture.
Look at that
Just
cover.
that picture
Seriously,
like
okay,
brings back
I
so
don't know
I've got
that there's
goosebumps.
anybody-
Look.
Yes.
I don't-
Braille
I don't know
everywhere.
that there's
Braille
anybody,
everywhere.
I mean, I don't want to say our age because I think that you're probably like younger than us. I'm around Tom's age, but like.
Hey, calm down.
You calm down. But I think everybody that's kind of a little bit older, that around when Bjork was putting out a lot of stuff, everybody, male, female, whatever, you've had a crush on her.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
come on.
don't
I
have
mean,
a
it's like
pulse
She
if
made
you don't.
me think in so many different ways
I
about
mean,
all
for
the
sure.
things.
Well,
Yeah.
she did so much for feminism, but
Yeah.
but we're here to talk about a record
Yes.
and maybe go into the
And
all the
it's called
amazing
Debut, and what a debut.
It is
Right.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
appropriate.
Why'd
and
you pick
it's
it?
Very yeah. Let's talk about why you picked it first.
Well, so 93, I was actually 10. And
So you
that,
are young.
You are
Yeah.
definitely a good thing.
But it was a really big deal for me, this record, because my cousin introduced it to me. Around that time, the AIDS pandemic was a big
Yes,
deal.
yeah.
And I was working with him at that age on I think it was called Peep Show. It's like an AIDS benefit,
Wow.
and I was the only kid. So I would be like out in Atlanta, passing out
That's
condoms
such a great-
and
And you were
talking about this
what,
kind of
10,
stuff.
what, how, 10?
10.
That's
Yeah.
a great, what a great experience. That's
But
amazing.
like right around then is when they started to introduce me to so much music that I just had no idea about, and I wouldn't have found it on my own.
That's how everybody. I mean, you stumble
Yeah.
upon it. You're lucky enough to stumble upon it. Know people
Right.
that
Yeah.
introduce you. That's how you do it.
Yep. And I just remember him putting this on and being like, "You have to listen to this," and immediately I was hooked. Like,
Yeah.
Put
And
it
I
on from the
listened
very
to
beginning,
it
so you heard human
like a
behavior
full
first.
story from
Okay.
the beginning to the end, and I still like to listen to it that way. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like a story to me.
I'm
It
with you.
is.
I'm with
Yeah.
you, and I think it's so sad that these up and comers, like they buy a single here and there. Like we love albums, we love like the
I know.
whole
It
thing, you
tells-
know.
You really don't. You don't get the full package of what the artist put into like thoughts on the order of the songs and like you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that
There's so much to
I
talk
want to
about,
say
yeah.
because I mean I remember reading an interview with what's his name? Oh goodness, terrible. Hip hop producer Timbaland, and he said he was a big Bjork fan, and he reached out to her and wanted to do like a record with her. And he was like, "You want this? You want that?" And he was like, "You want like a big banger?" And she was like, "No, I don't want any of it." She was like, "I'm gonna tell you what I want. Like, I don't care about the success of it." She goes, "I want to put out a piece of art that makes people just stop and think."
Yeah,
you know?
this
And
is
that is
exactly-
like amazing.
that's
This guy
why-
did Missy Elliott stuff. You know,
Was
I mean,
this
that's
like
amazing.
when she was talking about debut?
No, this is years
way
later.
later.
Yeah, he probably discovered her years later. Although this was her, I think Human Behavior probably was her biggest radio success. Like,
Well, in the
even-
UK, they're like all the singles hit.
Yeah,
really
all of
hard.
them, yeah.
But it was recorded in the UK. But the reason, which I think is like so interesting, there's so many interesting things I learned. I mean, I was a Sugar. Who wasn't a Sugar Cubes fan? That was like, you know, like.
Oh, yeah.
The reason she called this debut, because it wasn't her solo debut, because she did that at 11. Like she did.
Yeah,
She
she
put
was
out,
performing on
at
stages
11.
in front of punk bands when
I mean,
she was like
put
10
out a
years old.
record when
Oh,
she was
goodness.
11.
Yeah, goodness
So,
Sorry.
but she named this debut because it's the first time she actually
Put
made
her.
and her
Her.
music.
Yeah.
Like she actually like
Yeah.
decided how to arrange the music,
Right.
Right.
what she wanted. It was her. And
Fully
so
thought out
fascinating 'cause,
everything.
she doesn't consider herself a singer. She considers herself. I mean, she's been singing all her life, like, but she doesn't consider herself a singer. She considers herself somebody who makes music, and she
Yeah.
uses her voice as one of the like tools that she has
Sure.
to make
Sure.
music, which I think
Yeah.
is so fascinating.
I don't know how to say it better.
I love that you. I saw the Sugar Cubes in 1989
I've never
in
seen-
Meadowlands Arena in New Jersey. It was Sugar Cubes, Public Image Limited, and New Order. One of the many.
It was the
Public
wait,
Image.
wait, wait, it was
Sugar
the
Cubes
Sugar
were up
Cubes?
first. Public Image Limited, then New Order.
Oh my gosh.
1989.
I'm mad.
And it was.
I'm
And it was
mad.
I was 19 years old, showing my age. Keena, thanks. And but it was one of the many early new wave concerts that shaped me to become even the writer and the artist that I am. You know?
Right.
We have
And-
an amazing lineup.
yeah, unbelievable, you know. But we all heard the song "Birthday," which
Yes.
is wonderful. But Sugar Cubes, what an interesting voice. Like you're like, do I like it or am I scared of it? It's the same thing. And then when she came out with this debut,
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, she's a force to be reckoned with. Like she's gonna be. This lady's got a career ahead of her as being this diva almost if she
Massive
wants to
artist.
be.
Well, I
Massive,
mean- She's a
massive
diva.
artist.
She's
She
a
kind
massive
of helped.
artist,
She
yeah.
kind of helped like underground electronica come to the mainstream in her own
mean, it
way,
really
which is like a
did.
really big
'Cause a
deal
lot
because
of-
she was really influenced
A
by that.
lot of because she was recording this in England, in London.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons because she was like very hesitant to want to leave Iceland and go.
Yeah.
I think that she was very kind of almost a little bit bitter from interviews that I watched. She was a little bit bitter at how like the people in England kind of like saw her as almost like this alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not really.
Well, listen, we love aliens, and she is
But
an
she
alien.
also,
like,
it
definitely. I
didn't
mean,
phase
she's-
her.
Well, it didn't, but I mean, she said she bit the bullet and she went to
Yeah.
London because that's where where there was
Sure.
she could work with the musicians she wanted
Sure.
to. She had her choice of it. She's like, I wouldn't have had that option in Iceland.
True.
Like, it would have been.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think for me, like Bjork is, I mean, as far as feminism goes, I
Unbelievable.
mean, she was being unapologetically authentic,
Yeah.
female
Authentic's great,
herself
perfect, yeah.
at a time when it was still
Yeah.
not necessarily accepted.
Exactly.
And I mean, and the thing is, I mean, I think about like sometimes like where I was mentally when I was 20 or 21, whatever. I don't care if you say you're legally a man or an adult. I was a kid when I was 21, you know? I mean, I probably didn't become a decent songwriter or have the conscience that I wanted to until I was 30, you know?
Yeah.
And she was writing some of the stuff in her early 20s. And you're
Yeah,
like,
and it's
what?
really complex. Like, it's
Unbelievable.
amazing.
It really is
what's
complex.
coming out
And
of
some
her.
of the, okay, so like Human Behavior, and actually I think several of these songs, she wrote those when she was a teenager.
Yes, mhm.
It's just that the bands that she was in,
It didn't
'cause,
come
like,
to,
even
yeah.
before like Sugar Cubes, they didn't have like the right sound to be able to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, So Human Behavior, I think, was like actually like on MTV regularly.
Yeah,
Because I
that and
remember
Big
seeing-
Time Sensuality were
That,
like the two
yes,
big ones.
those songs,
Well,
and then
that
once in
Venus
a while,
was
Yeah,
big.
but it was a little slower. It was like at the
Oh,
end.
yeah, yeah.
but once in a
because-
while, you still see them pop up or listen on
Yeah.
like retro stations, and you're like, man, it's.
But those are actually my least favorite of the songs.
Yeah. So what are the songs like? Your favorite songs?
So I really, There's More to Life Than This was really awesome to me because it was like she puts you right into the actual situation.
does.
You hear
Which actually
the
that
door
kind of
shut in
throws
the
me off
bathroom,
a little,
and you're like,
but I do appreciate that it is
it's not
different.
like
It's
musically the most complex, but it's just interesting.
Well, no, it
that
throws
she,
me off when she takes it off, and then she's actually just like talking, like
Yeah.
she is. It throws me off, but I do appreciate that it's like she was doing something really different, like you
That's
know, like
well,
just doing that. Like, where
it
shuts
goes
her-
back to her
shuts
saying
out the
that
song.
even with Timberland, she's like, no, I want to take myself out of the comfort zone. I want to make you, the listener, feel
But
uncomfortable.
Is that what
whatever.
she was doing? Was she? Because it does say also live, like it says recorded.
at the Milk Bar toilets. Yeah,
Right.
she wanted
So
to like
she actually
really
like she
be
she,
in
like,
a
shut the
club
thing
and make
be
you feel like you were in there
So it's
with
kind of
her.
like 3 on the 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
We're just
Exactly.
drinking
Yeah.
at a bar.
And,
talking about music.
actually, it's 3 minutes and 21 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
I was really attracted to like someone in love, which like there was something. I'm a big jazz person,
Is that
and there
the
was
one where it's
something
just the
about her
horns,
jazz
it's just the
influence,
saxophone,
yeah,
all
that
jazz?
really appealed to me
Yeah.
at that age. That like. I didn't want to be a pop star. Like I knew I wanted to play piano. I knew I was going to be something unique, and she made me feel like that was
Wow.
wonderful.
She-
But
she-
like her
yeah.
jazz influence in all of the songs, like how it made them more worldly and like more interesting musically than just a beat, like an electronic beat. You know what I mean? Like there's live.
And she was
live
already like, kind of
saxophones and-
stretching out that way. Even,
Yeah, exactly.
Even on that album where
Yeah.
it's not just like a,
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah,
we're
and she
going.
gained that respect from that community too, which was like.
So is this your like introduction to Bjork that expanded into the whole package of like her life and all the albums and her movies and all, you know? whole
I
thing,
mean,
or is this
definitely
your-
it was intriguing enough to make me want to know what she was doing after that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't one of those albums where it was like, oh, that was really good, I liked it, and then moving on, you know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm still interested in what she's doing.
Yeah, and you could find something on every record, even if you don't like the whole record, something on the record that you like.
Yeah.
You know,
I
mean,
love Army of Me. I love a lot of the
I
stuff
love
that she
that,
came out
yeah.
with
Did
Did you watch,
afterwards.
Did you watch her? Because I haven't seen Dancer in the Dark.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like
It's intense.
It's a,
It's-
it's
it's
a
intense.
tough
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
That's
it's
intense.
it's hard, but it's impressive.
I'm
But
kind
it's
of like
amazing
it's
art.
like you
What are
were
gonna
just
do?
saying, it's her.
It's only her.
It's
Yeah.
art.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, how can you be like that incredibly talented and beautiful and so many like that incredibly beautiful and that talented in so many different. It's kind
Yeah.
of like it's like
It's
I'm
not
jealous,
fair
but I also really
that
like
she
you.
has everything. Everything came like she has.
It's like
It's
what?
like
Can't
all
you spread out
every
some of that?
yeah exactly.
No,
Yeah.
she really. I mean,
Yeah.
she really is a.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, I
People
think
like that
she's
are
one of those
awesome.
people that we're very lucky to have.
She
on
is.
The planet.
I went to
Or-
see her play, and being completely honest, and I love this record, so thank you for bringing it
Of
to
course,
us.
yeah.
I absolutely love talking about it and hearing your thoughts on it, and your story about when you were 10 is amazing, you know. But I probably, there's several albums of hers I probably never listened to, or maybe we'll never hear, you know. But I went to see her at the Fox in Atlanta, Georgia, in probably 2010, because I just knew it would be a good show, and I knew I wouldn't know half of it or 3/4 of the music, but I knew it would be good. And that being said, money well spent. The Fox Theater is so gorgeous, and it was like 4,000 people, things falling from the ceiling, party like balloons, and
When was this?
2010 at the
Really?
Fox, and it was so amazing. And I was like, I'm singing along to songs I never heard before.
Like the
And I think a
Fox?
month later, I saw PJ Harvey. So it was a great year for women. And I mean, like, I just felt so well, a lot of constant themes with us. I felt motivated and inspired,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
just like,
Sure.
and I remember the person I went with. I was like, I didn't know half those songs, but I feel like Rocky right now. Like I
Right.
mean, and 3/4 of the audience were just gay dudes kissing each other and doing somersaults, and I'm just making out with dudes. It was amazing. No,
I mean,
it was the greatest.
No, but he might have. But he might have.
It just was. Well, it was uplift. What do you want music to do? Make you think, uplift you, entertain you, inspire you. And I was not in my seat for 2 hours. I was jumping
and
around.
also bring community. One of the other things, you said all those things, but you touched on it right before you said that. It's like also bring all the people around together. Like it brings the people that are there closer. The people.
It was like being.
It kind of goes back to what I was saying about the jazz influence.
Yeah.
Like not just jazz, but like world music.
Yes,
techno,
the world music
house,
big time.
Yes.
EDM.
Like, I wrote jazz, funk, opera, like a little bit of every style of music. Because to me, like, I'm not big on genres. Like, the band I play in, I don't like being put in a box. And that's something I always like about her. She doesn't accept that. She takes all of it and uses it and makes it something
I love
of her
that.
own.
Like, I love the use of the Bollywood influence. And this as a
She
boy.
exposes you to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
She does.
So it's kind of like a portal to like all this other type of music as like a high school kid.
Yeah.
Right,
makes me-
and at
which
that
makes
point
me-
in 1993, when I listened to it, that was something I and probably a whole lot of other people had never heard or would never
Right.
hear
Yeah.
that way.
Well, which also makes me like wonder whether or not it's like, like one of the things that I love about melding all the genres is. No, I forgot my thought.
No,
again.
that's okay.
Do you want me to tell you my Bjork story?
Yeah,
Yeah.
too, please,
Before
please.
we-
Yeah.
It's not that awesome, but I had to go to Iceland.
I love all your stories, by the way.
Yeah.
All your stories, don't say that they're not awesome because they really
No,
pretty much are. They are.
they could be a lot better, but they're all just
Actually, can
Whatever
we
my
thank
experience.
Jameson and
Yeah.
do a shot to my
thank you,
friend
Jameson.
Keena?
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Keena.
And you just taught me so much about one of my favorite people. Like you
No,
schooled me.
I researched. No,
But I can tell you got excited like I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
really
the whole
amazing.
idea of the show, and we've been talking for so long about getting you on. All it is us just being friends, talking about what we love.
I think we just really want to it just really wants to be like a little inside look on like what we do, like sometimes like late at night when we've been drinking, talking
But
about
how
music.
cool is it that we got to get to James' story? How cool is it that like Keena brought this record to our attention, and thank you for that.
Well,
And
because
you're-
you told me to pick one, and I was like, that's an impossible
Yeah.
feat.
Yeah.
And then
Wait a
when I
minute.
was like,
And
naming
by-
them, I was
and-
like, you know
and-
what?
and-
Nobody's
and-
going to come in with
And
that
by,
one.
and
That's
by,
going to be
and by the
easy.
way, you picked. I mean, I
Exactly
think you
what we
picked
want,
Are You
yeah.
Experienced, Jimi Hendrix.
I did,
You
I
picked
did.
some wonderful
Yeah,
records.
yeah, yeah.
All of them wonderful.
Yeah.
Which one day we'll have you back.
We can go
or
back,
We'll
yeah.
we'll have other guests to talk about. But the whole idea about it is. Think about this. So you brought this to our attention, but then here's Cassie, because she's so awesome doing research. She's informing you about your favorite artists
I'm
that
just
inspired
trying to keep
you
up with people
as
that
a
know more
a
than
young
me.
girl.
That's
Like that's amazing. You know?
No, it's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
I do. I mean, I do want to say like just a huge shout out though to Bjork because like she really, I do believe as a woman, like she did a lot for feminism.
Yeah.
Still doing it.
was-
Still
and
doing
I-
it.
And I
Still
really
doing it.
can't give you like a sentence or like a full paragraph of like why I was moved or like why I chose her. She just imprinted on me enough that like she's a part of what I love,
Yeah.
part of like why I became who I am as
Yeah.
a singer.
Well,
and I don't
that's
have a
perfect.
reason for it.
Yeah.
She just did that.
No, but it's perfect.
So-
And she still does.
So
Yeah.
Keena plays piano and sings in Blood on the Harp. I'm going to mention it because she won't. But also, I've shared the stage with her and played solo shows. My mom and dad came to a show of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
They loved you.
We
What's not to
tickled
love?
the ivories
We tickled
and
the
sang.
ivories
We did
and-
some Tom Waits
Yes.
together.
We
that's so
got to
great.
do it again.
We gotta do it
which
again.
I know we will. We're not done. We're going to
He's
hear
gotta- we gotta
James
hear his
Joyce's
Bjork story before we go
So
down
you're,
Tom
you're
Waits.
building it up. So I had to go to Iceland for work. We had
Poor
this was,
guy.
I know. It was.
Did you eat the food out of the ground thing situation
Oh, the fish,
that they
fish,
do?
fish
Yeah,
thing.
I think I did.
Yeah, like
because
they
we
boil
did
a
a
lot of
like,
stuff in the ground.
excursions,
I would-
like
yeah.
cultural
I am vegan.
things.
I'll do it.
Because
I'll
this is like a work thing,
damn,
so
we're
it's like
getting
this whole package. Cheers.
Cheers,
And
everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, PBR.
How many
Louis
beers do we
Sandoval.
have? Yeah.
It was
Lots.
it was a global meeting, and it was when the economy collapsed in Iceland.
Okay, what year
Okay.
is
And
this?
it's like 2008, 2009, I think. And we had to do a global meeting. It was like, let's do it in Iceland.
That's
like,
wonderful.
Like they
So
don't.
That's pretty cool.
They don't have the, and it was during the winter, so it was like dark.
Yeah.
I'm texting
See
James.
the Northern Lights? Yeah.
I don't remember. I sure. I
James
probably
is like, I
didn't.
can't
Like, no,
talk.
I
You guys
only
are
remember
like-
meeting Bjork.
James like, can't talk right now. I'm in Iceland.
But so we were there, and it was dark, and whatever. It was still amazing. Like you're going there, you're there. But we're in the lobby, and Bjork is there, in the lobby with us.
She's tiny.
And it was like there's Bjork.
Yeah.
And it was like, who's going to talk to her? Who's going to talk to her?
They don't talk to her. Supposedly everybody leaves her alone.
We walked up to her, like me and a coworker were like,
American.
we're in Iceland.
You got
see Bjork. We got to say.
You go to Jamaica, you drink a Red Stripe. Let me just tell you that.
Bjork, like, hello, Bjork, big fan credit, and she was like, thank you. She was like,
That's it.
this is personal time,
That's
not talking time. Thank you, goodbye. You know, like sort of like,
Yeah.
thank you, cool.
Props.
Okay, I got to do my own thing, or whatever. And so she was super nice, but also she was
Short
not
and
in
to
the
the
mood
point.
to talk.
Yeah.
But it was like Bjork, and then we went on to like a bus because we had to go to some sort of excursion, and the driver was like, if you guys hadn't noticed, there is a local celebrity who is on our lobby. Her name is Bjork. And her name is Bjork.
Andre
Bjork,
3000 calls up Bjork.
it's actually Bjork because it
Bjork.
rhymes with jerk or whatever.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were kind of like a little.
Oh, really?
Because she probably doesn't want to listen. She doesn't want to be
You know
bothered.
what? Okay,
I don't
well,
blame
okay,
her.
so I think that
But I
the
thought she
taxi
was
drivers or
cool.
whoever you were talking to were jerks.
It
Well,
sounds
they were
like
the jerks.
It sounds
because
like,
it's it sounds to me like she has been involved in music since she was really, really little, and
Yeah.
like so much of her life has been
No.
consumed with it.
But I
and
checked
like
the box.
So we've been saying
You
her
met-
name
you met
wrong
Bjork.
forever, or did that guy say it
supposedly it's-
wrong?
I think
No,
it's,
I mean, because we don't know how to
Bjork.
speak
Bjork.
Bjork.
You.
Yeah.
It's
Ah.
Bjork.
yeah.
Well-
Everything I've heard is like
I like
Bjork.
Bjork,
I
but-
say Bjork.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
I'm gonna
like,
I'm gonna
I don't-
say
I'm
gonna
whatever
stick
whatever
with what
whatever
makes
she
me
needs
feel
to
good.
do.
I mean, yeah.
Whatever
Which,
she
I mean,
needs to do
apparently,
to
if you ever
keep
meet
on
her,
creating.
she's probably
Yeah.
going to be like, it's
That's
my
what
time
she
to
needs to do.
which is totally good
Okay.
for her. That actually is inspiring to me because it's nice to. I watched that one. I listened to the one. The podcast where you were a guest, where you were talking about how you were able to be in so many, because James Joyce has been in so many bands, and how you're able to do that and manage family life, and so I have a lot of respect for being able to do that, and so I understand her being like
I do
that
too.
because
Well,
Well, it's
James-
a small
James
place.
said she was
I'm
cool.
sure
she was very nice. She just wasn't necessarily accommodating because she had her boundaries. And
She
Well,
said,
she's
"Nice
also
to
like
meet you."
one of like 5 people from there that we
you
know
would
by
recognize,
name,
yes.
so that would
She's
be
one of
people
one
probably
that I
seek
know.
her out when they're there.
really,
and I'm
she's
sure.
actually the only person I know by name from.
I said
Iceland.
5 in hopes that somebody else would throw
Right.
everyone else in.
Recognize
I said
You're
one
that
of
other
one. Yeah.
Icelandic person that we
I wouldn't
know.
recognize anyone from like Sugar Rose or
Right.
whatever.
Oh,
But
yeah.
You see her
I
Yeah,
know the
in the
exactly.
lobby.
So
and
I'm
you're like,
sure that happens to
She's
her
so-
so often
she's
that
so
she doesn't
cool
get
looking,
to
you're
have
gonna
the
know.
personal life.
She- I
there.
mean,
She was fine.
she's that celebrity
I'm still a
status.
fan. She was super cool, but she was
Well,
very.
I'm gonna live
upfront being
vicariously
like,
through that
Which-
moment
which
for
I
the rest of my
incredibly
life.
I'll bring you to Iceland.
And
Well,
the,
let's instead of a letter. Do you
we
have
do
any?
have a letter, but we
Instead
do
of
have a but we do have a letter.
Let's not do a letter.
We gotta read the letter.
Let's not do a letter. Let's talk about ZZ Top.
Oh wow. Well,
you're
rest
gonna
in
take a left turn
rest
on
in
this.
peace, Dusty Hill. Well, I think we were going to do it on another episode. So we want to say that Dusty Hill from ZZ Top, beer drinkers and Hellraisers,
yeah.
much respect, passed away
Texas
this week.
finest.
Yeah, and that's a rough one. ZZ Top were such another weird and important band, but
so my memories.
Yeah.
Keena
aging
saving
and-
the day with
so
ZZ Top.
Saving the day.
Yep.
ZZ Top and AC/DC, my friend's father used to play
We'll read
on
this
the
letter later.
stereo,
Another
on like
time.
the really tall giant speakers with
Well, they would
like
have
3
the, like,
tweeters in
yeah,
it that like
yeah,
shake.
yeah.
So he would like wake us up in the
Classic
morning
system.
and either turn on AC/DC or ZZ Top.
Right.
And like shake us out of the bed
Yes,
when we were
that's
sleeping in
wonderful.
on the weekends.
Well, that's a good
So
memory.
that's one of my memories.
I
of
remember
ZZ
when
Top.
It woke you up.
It woke me
all
up,
night long.
but we weren't upset about it.
I remember when Billy Bob Thornton won, I guess, an Academy Award for Sling Blade.
Yep.
And he's such a badass, and he goes and he's wearing like Wranglers, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. No tux for this dude, whatever. Actually, take that back. I destroyed the whole story. He's not wearing a cowboy hat. He's wearing a baseball hat that says ZZ Top on it. That's what I'm part of the story. But anyway, but he's wearing cowboy boots and Wranglers, and these idiots on the red carpet are like, "What are you wearing?" and that stuff, whatever. And the guy's like, "Congratulations on winning, your Academy Award, whatever." And he's like, "Thanks a lot, man. A few words, whatever." He's like, "ZZ Top, man. what's your favorite song? He goes, just got paid, and just walks away. It's like, that's awesome. Like,
I also remember
just got
them
paid,
performing on
Right
like
answer.
an MTV Awards thing and like blowing everybody
Of
away,
course, yeah.
like when they were older and like nobody of like that
Right.
age range was expecting them to walk out and just like blow the roof off.
Yeah.
That was
I saw
something
ZZ
I
Top
remember
play at a
them
private
doing.
party in 2012 in Greenwich Village. I got invited to at a room
These
half the
stories
size,
are always,
size of this, maybe 100 people. Next to me is Howard Stern. He's like 8 feet tall, singing every word. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not gonna shake your hand, Howard Stern. Although I think he's a germaphobe, he probably wouldn't have shook my hand. But I just watched. Like, I posted some pictures the other day when Dusty passed of me like up front, and literally the stage was like 2 feet tall. And they played basically all of Tres Hombres. And cheers to ZZ Top.
Yeah, I heard they were really, really sweet people
Very
Do you have
too.
any ZZ Top stories? I don't know.
I really respect
You have a
them.
shirt?
They're-
You have a good
I have a
ZZ
good
Top
ZZ
shirt.
Top shirt,
And-
official.
The beards.
I
mean,
saw
come on.
so when I was I guess it was when it was in 81. So I guess I was 9. I was living in Texas and the Rolling Stones had said that it was like going to be they were touring for the last time. They have
Sure,
said that they said that
That's a
many
Ahead of
famous
time.
move. That's a
Yeah.
famous
And
move.
ZZ
Them and
Top-
Kiss do that.
ZZ Top.
Yep.
ZZ Top was opening for the tour,
Wow, yeah.
and then in front of them was Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Sure.
And we didn't have tickets, so we bought.
You told me
we
this
bought
story.
scout
Yes,
tickets.
you told me this
It was
story.
81. It was in the Cotton Bowl
Mm-hmm.
arena. Huge. We had almost nosebleed
Sure.
scout tickets that I'm sure my parents, my mom and my stepdad paid.
Listen,
a
your
ton of-
parents,
still worth it.
your
It
parents
I
are pretty
mean,
cool.
And it poured. It poured.
Oh, on
I
you.
Mean, it did, I mean, well, yeah, because we
Yeah,
weren't really.
because you're out-
we were
it's a
covered.
stadium.
I mean, I think it was also pouring on part of the state. I mean, this was when I was like,
Yeah.
8,
Yeah,
9.
you were 9, yeah.
So I don't remember I do remember fucking poured.
Watch
it-
your
it-
language.
It poured a lot. It poured. I mean, it poured so much that it was like, and with the pyrotechnics of like the bands and like, and you know what? Because the fans stayed, they played anyway.
Of course.
ZZ Top played, Rolling Stones played, and they were out there. And I think that like, I didn't remember this, but like I looked it up just to make sure that like, because my mom was like.
Because you remember things differently over
Well,
the years.
I was
yeah.
so little, and you
Yeah.
know, I was like, I don't remember. I have a bad memory anyway. So I like asked my mom, I'm like, when did we see ZZ Top open for like Rolling Stones? And she was like, I think it was 81 at the Cotton Bowl. And so I looked it up, and it was like, sure enough. And then like people in the comments were like, it poured, and I'm like,
umbrellas, yeah.
and and so like
Everybody
I like
remembers.
Mick Jagger,
Yeah.
like I mean, they were just.
Because it's funny, because I
little,
remember
you know,
things
like-
when I was a little boy, and I think I remember a certain way, but it's actually as a result, I saw pictures of it when I was a kid, and I'm like, I remember that. I'm like, I don't remember that. Like, you know,
Well, think
but you
of
actually
how
remember
many
the drama.
awesome
You actually remember
concerts
being
people
there.
experienced
Yeah.
because they couldn't like look at their phone and be like, oh, I'm not gonna go because it's raining.
Yeah,
Right?
but we don't have a phone anymore.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
we, like or back then.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't
that's
have
what
a
I'm saying,
phone, we didn't have
like-
anything. It's like
It was a
just
sure
like,
experience.
My stepdad was like, and my mom like
Yeah.
music was really important in like growing up for me. And it's like so they're like scalp tickets. I paid a lot of money for them to see Rolling
Well,
Stones
that's some
last
cool.
tour.
That's some cool parents, and so I'm gonna give.
For real.
We need to close out, but I want to give a
Yeah.
shout out to your parents. I want to give a shout out to everyone's
Thank you.
parents. I want to give a shout out to you as a parent and as a friend. I want to give a
yeah.
shout out to Bjork or Bjork.
Oh my goodness. Thank you
for
guys so much
being-
for making this the most
I want to
amazing
give a
conversation.
shout out to Keena, who, I mean,
Come back and have another conversation.
I
We'll just like meet
I
up and
honestly-
drink and have more conversations.
I
This-
honestly-
I got all the albums, y'all.
I seriously, some days feel like Richard Branson or whoever you want to say, like the richest guy in the world with who I have as friends.
Aw,
And you're,
you
on,
really
you're
are.
on the top of that list. Oh goodness, I don't even
And
hit
she's
on
freaking adorable.
She's so
He-
beautiful.
he
And
really
so,
is
you
a
know,
good
Keena
friend.
will randomly send me a text, thinking of you, just send a love. And it might be just the worst day of the year for me with things going on.
It just so
And I'm
happens to
like,
be
thank
the
you so
thing you
much.
need.
Love you
Same.
too.
Yeah.
And also, well, yeah, beautiful and an insane talent. And I'm so glad at 10 years old, you're handing out condoms, listening to Bjork, and that inspires you to become the awesome person you are now. So,
Thanks, man.
man,
you.
cheers,
right.
everybody.
Love you. It's
Love
so
and
nice to meet
respect.
you. Thank you
So
guys
nice
for
to meet
having
in
me.
person. Yeah,
Cheers.
of course.
Cheers on the one and two.